Dan the Natural Man Show. Dan the Natural Man here with you for another episode. Today I want to talk about the herb known as plantain. This herb is a very special herb. It has many qualities, and it is a remedy for many ailments. And the good news is, for most of us who live in North America and even abroad, this herb is usually in your yard somewhere. As a matter of fact, I have some in my yard. I'm going to show it to you right now. So, look at this. You see this one? Let me see. I just cut my yard. Maybe, oh, here's one. Here's a piece of plantain leaf right here. It's been cut. But during the summer they usually have the stamens coming up too. But with this herb you can use the leaf, you can use the root, you can use the seed, all of it. You can use the stem. All of it is very good to use. I wish I had a better example of it in my yard today, but I don't. Let's pick this leaf. You see that? And I may give you a better example soon. But I definitely want to cover this herb today because it is highly important. Now, the first one I want to talk about is plantain is good for blood poisoning. Now, as you can imagine, this is very important because sometimes we get blood infections, and those infections spread to our limbs. Sometimes all the doctor can do is he wants to cut off your leg or your arm. Well, this herb has been known to clear blood infections where you can keep your limbs. Now, in order to do this, you want to use the herb as a tea. You take the leaves like I just showed you, boil your water, throw the leaves in, let it sit for 15 minutes, and drink the tea. You can also make a tincture of plantain. You can use plantain as a poultice. One of the fastest and easiest ways to do this is take a leaf of plantain, chew it up, make a spit poultice, stick it on your wound, wrap it up, which brings me to, it's good for wounds. It can help stop mild bleeding if you stuff a wound with the leaf. It's also good for insect bites and poisonous snakes. To use it for poisonous snakes or insects, you can make a tea of it and drink it internally. You can also take the leaves and make a poultice out of them and put them on the bite. Because plantain draws things to the surface. Say if you got a splinter or poison, it'll draw it out if you place it on as a poultice. You can also add bentonite clay to the poultice. I want to make a video to show you guys how to make a poultice. But for now, just know that you can take a plantain leaf and you can chew it, make a spit poultice, place it on your wound, and wrap it up with, or you can put a gauze over or ace bandage. Here's another example of the leaf again, plantain leaf. My father-in-law was actually bit by a brown recluse on his face a few years ago. He already started to get necrosis. He went to the doctor. They gave him antibiotics. The antibiotics doesn't do anything for poison. So he told me about it, and I came out here in my patch, my plantain patch. I made him a poultice with plantain and bentonite clay. Also threw a little black cohosh in the poultice because there's also another anti-venom. I also made plantain tea for him. He drank the tea, put the poultice on his face once or twice a day, and the necrosis that was spreading started to reverse. The necrosis went away within, I say, 3 days. So it is a very powerful herb, especially, remember, if you get bit by a scorpion or a snake or a brown recluse, anything like that. It's also a good herb if you have IBS or ulcers, because this herb is also a demulcent herb, which means it can soothe mucous membranes when you consume it. You make a tea out of it, drink it, and you can use a tincture. The best way to use herbs is to use them internally and externally. Say if you're working on a boil, plantain is good for boils as well. You'll make a poultice, stick it on the boil, wrap it up with a piece of plastic, and then put a bandage around it to hold it in place. It'll draw the fluid out of the boil, and you also drink the tea. Other ways this herb is used is it's a good diuretic. Say if you want to do a kidney cleanse or you're having trouble urinating, you can take it as a tea. It'll speed up, it acts as a diuretic, which makes your body produce more urine. So it's good for a kidney cleanse or for weak kidneys to help them function better. It's good for wounds, like I said. It's good for wounds, cuts, and scratches. Again, use as a poultice for those. This herb is also good for skin disorders. You got ringworm. You can take plantain, you make a tea, dip a rag in the tea. This is called decoction. Dip a rag in the tea, put it on your fungus, whether it be ringworm or some other fungus on the skin. Put it on the skin, the rag, wrap plastic around it, let it sit for 30 minutes to an hour. You can also take the leaves again and place it on, wet the leaf with your mouth, place it on the fungus, wrap it up. It's also good for burns. Say, we usually use aloe vera for some burns and other burns, but plantain can be used in aloe's place if you don't have an aloe, or if you prefer to use plantain, plantain works just as well. And as I said again, it's good for if you have a splinter or poison in the body, place it on, it will draw it out. It's amazing. I mean, this herb is good for a lot of things, yet most of us don't even realize we have it in our yard. And if we do, we try to kill it with weed killer, or cut it down a lawnmower, weed eater. I usually keep my little herb garden here unmowed. In the summer, this garden is just full of plantain. Plantain is also used for tuberculosis and syphilis. Of course, you use it again internally and externally for that. It's also good for liver cleansing if you have a sluggish liver. And some of the signs of a sluggish liver is bloating. Another sign is when you eat, it takes very little food, you start to get really full and bloated. It's also good, like I said again, for inflammation in the digestive tract, whether it be ulcers or IBS. It'll help to soothe those membranes and to help the body to start to heal those issues. It's also good for mercury poison. Taking as a tea and a tincture. If you have mercury poison, it helps to draw the poison out of you. And most of us do have some mercury in us, whether it's from dental fillings or some of the vaccines we've gotten in the past. They all contain mercury. It's also good if you have colds or flu. You can drink the tea, take a tincture. It'll help your body fight the cold and the flu. You remember how I told you to make a tincture? You would just round your leaves up out here and your stems and your if you want to get the roots, you can dig the roots. Make sure if you use the root to clean it off really well and sink all the dirt off and everything. Place it in your blender with alcohol, blend it up. Let it steep for 2 weeks, minimum 2 weeks. Shake it once or twice a day while it's steeping in your jar. And then in 2 weeks, strain it, tincture it up in your tincture bottles, and use it as a tincture. It's also good if you have a sore throat or laryngitis, where you're losing your voice. You can take it as a tea and a tincture. You can even take it, the leaves, make a poultice, wrap it around your throat. It'll help to lower the inflammation in your lymph nodes and your neck. And that's probably all I had today on this herb. I know I went pretty fast, but I know most of you guys have a short attention span out there. If anybody has any more questions about this herb or how to make a poultice or anything, I'm going to show you how to make a poultice anyway. I'm going to show you probably in my next video. But you know, it's Dan the Natural Man. Remember to keep it natural, keep things natural. And until next time, keep it natural.